we're glad you are here with us on this beautiful summer day. Well, we're not there to summer yet, but we're close. I'm going to give you a quick update on the weather before we get into our Karen Drift Anishinaabemoin show. And let's see, currently it's 7 degrees right here in Nett Lake, and the forecast for today is calling for a high of my clan, and Unanami zaagi'igining or zaagi'igun in Dunjaba is where I hail from. I come from over there in Lake Vermilion area of the reservation. Shkunigun, yeah, that part of the reservation, Shkunigun.
You be like Job and say Obade.
Obade?
Yeah, that's what he used to say.
Oh, Obade.
He'd point. He'd say, oh, I seen him over there.
And then let's see, Bungi, Ita, Etago, yeah, Nita, Anishinaabemoin. I know just a little bit. I don't want to. I'm trying to be humble here. Miu Miigwech Bizendawieg, yeah, and Nashkibenes is joining us today. And Nashkibenes, Ginitam.
Nashkibenes and Nijinikas.
Here, let me get you turned up here. I thought I had you. I think you're turned. We might be having some audio trouble here, so we're going to come back to Nashkibenes while we figure this out. Anyhow, go ahead, Auntie.
Uju, Nukumis Indijinikas. Asabikone, zaagi'igining, asabikone, zaagi'igan, and doing Jiva. You could say it either way. Minno gishigat nungum. Nice day outside. Gigagu gishate. It's almost hot out there. Nigikshkuzi. Nanan deboiga nek sheva. I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning. I put my tobacco out, and now that I can walk in my backyard, Min wendam. I'm glad min wendam nigi min wendam nigi bimadis. I'm glad to be alive today. Miigwech kinago away gan nuki goma kinago went to Bois Forte Indian
I'm sorry.
They just said doing away.
Knocked it over, dropped it.
They just said doing away.
All right, let's try your microphone there.
Nashkibinas indigenous cause. Makwani do them.
Oh, wow, we got you.
And I was gonna say that I posted this morning, Gita Bizinda, KBFT, Noondag and Muchigan, Noongum. I put, listen to KBFT radio today. That's what I posted.
Wow.
Miigwech.
Yeah, we glitch.
Diin tam Nashkibinas.
Yeah. Tom. Nashkibinas indigenous cause. Makwani do them. Asabikone zaagi'igining do jaba. The Nanu Jansuk. Bijinago. Ogiwa ma Chimakwa Minowa Makuns. Nupuming. Yesterday I saw a big bear and her little cute cub out in the woods. They're in the woods, but yeah, that little cub was cute. He was really just tiny. But what was I gonna say? I went to the White Earth Powwow meeting this past weekend, and Alan Hardy was doing the invocation, and he sounded really good. He can talk pretty well. I like his the way he speaks. He speaks that old
Indian.
that old dialect, that old Anishinaabe, the way he sounds. And not every speaker sounds the same.
They have their own dialects, their own way. But if you follow an elder, you will talk the way you talk with the elder. How he or she talks, that's how you will learn their dialect. And say if you go to White Earth or like in Canada, I can't hardly understand my friend when she talks. I have to listen really close to her words, hang on to every word she says. But same thing with me. She said she has to. They're the same thing, but just sounds are different. Oh, Bijina go gino nino she ogi wabandana wawashke she's. Yesterday, your aunt seen a little baby deer. Ogi wabama wawashke she's. Bijina go yesterday. Gawi nini wabamasi. I didn't see any babies yet. They're cute though.
Mm-hmm. They are.
Niwabama, Migizi, Jeba, I'm sorry.
This morning.
Yeah, this morning on the way to work. It was really nice because I didn't see him for maybe a week, I think. Yeah, anywhere around. And that one was just out in the sun, kind of drying his feathers or her feathers. And yeah, it was really nice to see them.
Then it's your clan.
Yeah, yep. So I must be in the right path today.
I never see my clan, only in pictures. Like caribou.
Yeah.
I made a mistake one time. Carlene laughed at me. This guy asked me what my clan was, and I just told him, I said, it's a moose. And I started, did I say moose? I said, no, it's caribou. I said, there's no moose.
Well, I heard that you're going to be able to see them, I believe, or maybe it's elk, I'm not sure. But Fond du Lac is bringing back an animal that hasn't been in this area, since before contact. And so that might be a caribou, I'm not sure. Dale, I'll ask Dale during the break which one, because we were like, oh, they're bringing back, how are they going to do that within the reservation boundaries? But I guess it's in cooperation with the Minnesota DNR that, they're going to be protected there and for use or harvest or whatever it is for the tribal band members. So That's pretty awesome that they're bringing, you know. I
That's a
hope
lot of
it's a
work, too.
caribou. Yeah.
There's a lot of, like, when your grandma Jessie was alive, she used to tell me and your grandpa that just when they were little, she said they used to see them wild ponies. She said they would be across the lake.
Really?
She said they would be eating the bark off a tree.
Oh, yeah.
You could see their teeth marks where they were
Oh, yeah.
eating some bark.
Yeah.
And that's a last time she heard of them is when she was a little. They bought us when we had an immersion camp in somewhere. I can't remember where it was. Anyway, Don Joseph was running the immersion camp, and he got them people. They had them ponies, them on Nett Lake horses. They had 4 of them, and they bought them in a big horse thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they bought only 2, I think, yeah. And for the kids to, pet and look and stuff.
Yeah.
But a day before they bought the horses, Don took a little Mark, bunch of kids, about 7 kids, 7 boys and girls, to go and look at that farm where they were going to bring them horses from. And there was 7 of them there. And the last one, that lady said, that last one won't come out. She said, and he don't have a name. He don't have a name yet. We didn't name him. But anyway, I don't know, someone called Mark, little Mark. They said, Skugabu. That's his name is, that means red horse, standing, Gabu.
Mm-hmm.
And Misko is red, Misko Gabu, horse, a red horse standing. Anyway, that horse wouldn't come out for the people to look at him. When that lady heard somebody calling Mark Skugabu, and she said, "Is that your Indian name?" She said, and little Mark said, "Yeah." And she said, "Could I name him Skugabu, that horse?" And Mark said, "Yeah." She called into that horse, Skugabu. She said, "Here that horse came walking out of that barn."
Mm-hmm.
And he walked right up to where Mark was standing. They were in a fence. And that horse was a red horse, like the color almost red.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really strange. That's what the name he must have been waiting for. Because long time ago they said that all Indian horses had Indian names.
Yep. I'm sure they did.
Then,
just like your cars nowadays, some people name their cars.
Yeah.
and then I was going to talk about that. People give me things to talk about, just like these names. My grandma, her name was Rose Bear Grease, and her dad was John Bear Grease. And I never knew this when I was just a little kid. I suppose I didn't really ask a lot of questions about her life until later, when I was bigger. Anyway, she had 20 to 24 dogs on a mush. And us kids had a name for every dog. My dog was Hound Dog, and Clara had a dog called Snowball. And Gillig had a dog named Schnucklips.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Yeah, and then there was another one called Warnabit.
Mm-hmm.
And Lizzie, all kinds of names for them. Anyway, there was 2 old dogs. Our grandma told them they're old. She said they're they're getting ready to go Maja. She said they're gonna go. So one day we couldn't find that dog anywhere. We're calling for him and he wouldn't answer. And then my grandma came out. She said, she told us in Indian, she said he went away to die. She said he left. She said they go when they know they're gonna die when they're going into the woods. She said they're gonna go look for a resting place, and and she said that's where they go and hide and they just die there. She said they find like a bunch of bushes and like kind of hid away, and that's what she said the Indians did. She said they when your dog dies, she said don't bury him. She said just take him into the woods, far into the woods, cover him up with twigs and wrap him in a blanket maybe, and put some tobacco down and just cover him with branches and whatever, and just leave him. She said, and that's what my son does. He lost some dogs when he's living in Whiter. He said they went way out into a back road, and that's where because I heard somebody's dog passed and they took him to a vet. It was going to cost thousands of dollars just to they put him down, and if they that way nobody has like $4,000 to you know.
Yeah.
But that's what our grandma used to tell us about burying a dog, or how dogs were on the mushuk.
Yeah.
And when they used to use dogs for Medewi, as soon as they were born, they were weaned off their mother. They would keep them in a fenced in, and it had to be a black dog. They had to. It couldn't be any other color dog. Only a black dog. Then they quit doing that long time ago.
Mm-hmm. What else you got for people that want information? I know you said that they wrote to you as far as questions went. Be kind of interested to hear what they have to say. And if you're out on our Facebook right now, our Facebook feed, you can definitely interact with us. If you want to send your questions, something hit you, maybe that you remember, or you want to contribute in some way, you can definitely get on our Facebook Live and interact with us. We're streaming right now. And then if you are so inclined, you can also get a hold of us here at the studio, and you can do that by dialing 218-248-0167. And some of you out there have Aunty Karen's contact information, her Facebook. Yeah, she's open to you guys adding her and asking her questions on Facebook. And also, if you want to give her a call or text message her, what was your number again, Aunty?
218-750-7268. I'm gonna have Perry read this. What was sent to me? It's about the movement. Did you read it on Facebook? Here.
Oh yeah.
Zaagi'igining. Read that. That's from Keith Sakola.
After hundreds of years of isolation, here's how the Indigenous heroes are fighting to reclaim their cultural identity and their health. The movement. Cooking of traditional Native American food for feast on the Bois Forte Reservation in Minnesota. It's fair to say Bois Forte is secluded in the 1800s. Native American communities were isolated through a series of policies enacted by the U.S. government. Everything from commerce to food supplies were cut off. In its place, the government pushed prepackaged commodities. This is what Chef Sherman calls oppression food, food that literally sickens the body. Centuries later, for anything that's not junk, you need to travel 34 miles to get to the closest market. Sean wants to fix this by bringing indigenous cuisine back to its people, making sure that Native American food histories and food items themselves are present for Native American people. That's important to you. Why? You know, I grew up on Pine Ridge Reservation and I started cooking at a real young age, Sean said. And I got to a point where I had this vision of wanting to do Native American food because it was the food of my ancestors and my heritage. And you know, the oppression foods that people got put on. So once they moved to the Americas, they were forced to become dependent on the government for lots of canned foods and packaged foods. And I grew up with that stuff and I didn't think much of it. I didn't like a lot of it. I thought all cheese tasted like the big block cheeses. I couldn't eat salmon because I thought all salmon tasted like canned government salmon. We used to get it as kids. It's just bad food. So yeah, it seems like there's a big movement for food sovereignty and bringing back natural Native American healthy food. You know, like
There's some more stuff on there.
oh, it says Sean is not alone in the mission. Rebecca Yoshino from Tribal Gardens is helping. Native Americans have the highest rate of diabetes of any racial group in the U.S. Since commoditized food, Native Americans have been plunged into a diet that can be poison depending on what you're putting into your body. I mean, there are so many health-related illnesses that could be remedied with healthy foods. Clean foods, indigenous foods that are not just available. So it's very, very serious. What can one find on this property? The laundry list of everything here. Well, we have elderberries, juneberries, wild plums, hazelnuts, choke cherries. Some of these foods that were historically wild here. I mean, you can still find them in the wild in Minnesota, River Valley, and they are culturally significant foods as well. A lot of communities here within this country were growing crops like sunflowers, corn, squash, beans, tomatoes, sweet potatoes. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And when communities were displaced from their lands, commodity foods were brought in that were incredibly unhealthy and started making people really sick. You know, food and access to food was definitely used as a weapon to help subjugate. When you say commodity foods, processed foods, yeah, like white flour, butter, lots of highly processed foods. I mean, fry bread, that is not a traditional food. What is fry bread? Because I hear it's a staple. It is absolutely, and a lot of people do think it as a post-colonized food, yes, as more traditional food, but it's literally white flour and water. And it's a dough that's deep fried that tastes really good, but it is really unhealthy.
Yeah, I saw an anti-fry bread movement that started 2 years ago, I believe it was. Yeah, they're going on about how unhealthy it is. And I mean, yeah, you know, like during nowadays, right? Like present day, I can see it being an unhealthy choice because we have so much other food available, you know. But I don't want to say traditionally because, yeah, it never was a traditional food item.
Well, I watched my cousin get into like a small debate, not an argument, but a small debate with another person from Michigan. And yeah, he had wrote a post about fry bread and said something, you know, he called it oppression food. And then some person took offense to that and said, what do you mean? And he explained it to him like that was the making of fry bread. If you really go back to it in history, the first pieces that were made were like buggy flour. The flour had bugs in it.
Yep.
It was the lard, the butter was just way over past its date.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that food was really horrible.
Yeah, it
And
was.
they created,
Everything had bugs in there. You had to watch your white rice. It had bugs in there and little,
Yeah.
little black bugs.
Yeah, I think what Anishinaabe was referring to was back when they did the foodstuffs. Like in our trees, there were part of the trees. They said that they would provide food,
rations of
rations, yeah, and even what that dates back to the mid 1800s, all the way to the second half into the 1900s, and it's not like you're given free food. I mean, they gave us the most rancid meats,
almost like they gave us like their leftovers or what they weren't going to.
whatever spoiled, basically.
Yep. And it's a hard truth to hear, but that was just really what happened.
Mm-hmm. So we're just going on different topics here as we're rolling along. I think what we'll do is Anishinaabe has got some information that he wants to share with us today. Anishinaabe works over at the Bois Forte Heritage Center and is our language and cultural coordinator, for the reservation. So, is there any particular topic that you needed to highlight or let listeners know about?
Yeah. So what's going on now is I'm in the process. Jalen and I are in the process of we're gonna try have hold a immersion camp sometime in summertime.
Mm-hmm.
Give us like a month or two to get ready, and I kind of want to plan on August, right before the kids go back to school.
You know what? You should ask Don Joseph for information. He ran a immersion camp here like for 4 or 5 times in like what do you call someone you can ask questions to and maybe give them some gun or something. Just because we gotta ask our elders who've done this before, just to get ideas. You don't have to do whatever. Just plain ideas.
Mm-hmm. But I definitely got time. I still got 8-9 weeks to plan it. I already have the list of people that I want to come aboard and come up and possibly help, and maybe two-day camp. And then another things too is the Anishinaabemoin signage project that's basically done. I got my bids and my quotes, so pretty soon, like a lot of the buildings here will be labeled in the language, like bathrooms, accounting, human resources. There's words for all those places.
Yeah.
And I tracked them down and I found them, and so that project's done. I'm just waiting on the process to submit to pay for the project.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty excited about that, because every other tribe has their tribal government offices, their health offices, their elder centers. They're all labeled in the language.
Yeah.
Most tribes like White Earth, Red Lake, Leech Lake,
Yeah.
Fond du Lac.
Mm-hmm.
I think Grand Portage too even has some signage.
Yeah, they do.
So just looking to get us caught back up on that part, and then the more you see the language, see it written out, maybe it helps some people, not everyone.
Yeah.
But so I'm hoping to get that done too by next month or two.
Then another thing we did when we had our immersion camp, we had lesson plans, what we did day by day with the kids. Like get up got them up early to have breakfast, clean. Everybody pitched in to clean up. Then we had a person, 2 people cooking that went through cooking school. They knew what and we had like it was summer, so we picked berries and we'd have like blueberry pancakes and just nutrition, like And then, yeah, we had craft time. We made moccasins.
That one year, him and his brother Joey actually constructed an actual wagagan
Yeah.
or a wigwam.
Mhm.
You know, that was pretty cool. I remember that.
Yeah, we had help in there. You were helpful in there, making them. Everybody, all the kids had a hand in making that big long waganagon.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Sharissa and Haley, they were making that, you know, Margie.
I remember seeing over in Tower, right over there. Remember where Marvin Knott used to live, right there by the softball field that's there now.
Mm-hmm.
They had like a little camp there. I don't know if it was a ceremonial camp or what, but I know some of the people that were there were from Canada, and I know Vern Adams was involved in that. So probably Clint, maybe Billy.
Yeah.
So, but they set up the Waganagons, and of course everything was constructed the way that they were traditionally made, and so it'd be really interesting. Well, it's one of our dreams anyway, and I missed my conversation with or our opportunity to converse with Squidge, because Squidge has been doing a lot of this stuff nowadays,
Yeah.
cultural stuff
Yeah.
as it relates to like the outdoors, sports, and so forth. So there's a lot that could be done, Nashki Benes. There is so much activity that's going around. There's quite a bit of resources, like you said. We should first line of contributors or consultants should be our own elders, of course. And you guys are pretty involved with that. I know I attended a meeting with Jay over in Vermilion, and he was getting some information, from the elders that were over there, and it was really good stuff. I learned quite a bit, just a discussion like we're sitting here right now over this table here, and so definitely do more of that stuff, and keep it all as close to home as possible, So if we can get, hold on a second. Oh. It makes a real loud noise. But anyhow, yeah. So if we can do that, and we'll definitely help you plan. I mean, Chaz used to put together weekends like that too. So he had like, whether it was winter, summer, fall, springtime. So we can do that, and then come up with some themes that you want to cover, and we can certainly be a partner, so we could bring in certain people if we want some speakers to come in, or one person I'm thinking about is our friend from Lac de Flambeau, in the one that helped us build the canoe. Yeah, so we could definitely bring him back over. His Wayne, I think his name. Valerie, yeah. And so we'll try to get a hold of him. I know he's like really busy now. He's got these big projects that he's working on. And one of the things that he wanted to do was to build a Waganigan settlement camp. And I remember we were kind of teasing Chaz when he was here. We were like, Chaz, do you want to stay in that Waganigan all winter long? And Chaz was game for it. He's like, yeah, I'll stay in it, So that'd be kind of interesting, It'd be a good project. And I don't know, maybe Chaz is available.
That's good news. They're all getting together, and like I'm glad Perry's working up here just to exchange things, and then Squidge is up here,
Yep.
working with you, is just exchanging things, and there should be more people up here that are interested in
Well, just coordinating,
culture, yeah.
working together.
And giving each other ideas, and
Yep. And resources,
mhm.
Because I really appreciate Peyton and what she does too,
Yeah.
because she brings in a lot of people that I kind of know, but I've never worked with them. And so it's great to have that kind of knowledge being brought in. You know, like they went on a plant walk. I think it was a week and a half ago, and I'd like to do the same thing. You know, because you're not able to walk right through. You know, the forest floor at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good that we have some younger people that are stepping up, and definitely something that we want to do. I think I never have time. I got to get down to Virginia for an eye appointment today, and I've been trying to get out to West Boundary to show these new guys here, Orlando and Dale, some of the things that they'll see out on the West Boundary area, you know, and mainly moose, you know. At least I've always known that area to a good place to find moose out that way. So, and I've been trying to get out down Farmer John's and even fish to try and go fishing. And I know Frankie Villebrin invited me out. Dale has invited me out for some big giant crappies and panfish. So I definitely want to get up to that lake that he was talking about. But where you showed us the strawberries heading towards Farmer John's there,
Yeah.
that is a real beautiful area, and I just want to go back there and be there.
That's where that park medicine is to Farmer John's Road.
Yep.
Right alongside the road. So I wouldn't have no problem getting there
Mm-hmm.
because every year I get there when I pick medicine with Carlene and Dawn. But there's, you know.
I know what we'll have to get you a motorized chair and four-wheel drive it, get you back there.
Yeah. There was something else. Oh, Carlene posted some stuffs there at Turtle Island. No, Madeline. What is that?
Madeline Island?
Yeah, she posted some really interesting stuff on there. That she said that was named after a lady, Madeline, or
Mhm.
Madeline or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's on Facebook this morning, and there's pictures on there, and there's a bunch of, I guess there's hardly any Indians there. They had an Indian tour guide that took them all over, and she said he just likes to joke and Indian and all that, and she said he's really a nice man, and but it's on Facebook here, and it tells a lot. There's even they have a bunch of writings in Anishinaabe about this lake. It said, "Gego boogies again, don't swim here. You can't swim." And if I could find it, I read that.
I know they had a story on the news about some of the shoreline, like even down Superior. They said that it's I don't know if it's bacteria or algae or whatever it was, but it's probably a similar thing like that because the whole coastline of the Great Lakes is impacted by that. Certain sites, not every site, but at times they'll close down certain sections, you know, where people like to swim.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that whole sign is in it, you know, that's the same language we have here. I don't know how they speak it, but I read the whole thing, what it said, and that's what it said.
Was it like a post, a big
post like
okay.
that?
All right.
And that's what I was. Then I got to thinking. Oh, after I seen that post, you know, that's what they should do around here, like historical
Landmarks.
Like Big Point.
Yep. And
would be, this is where the people first landed when they come to Bois Forte Indian Reservation. in like the island. They could have a story about the island.
Yep.
Strongville was the last people to really do the way the Indians did years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they lived.
Yep.
And like
But that would be
Yeah.
kind of a great
Yeah.
museum or history, not history, what is it? Heritage Center project. And we would definitely help out too.
Yeah, and there's
getting
definitely-
into something like that, the funding to do some of these placards, the plaques, so they'd just be sitting there and you'd have a map of, like, let's say the whole lake, and you just kind of put place names on there and then in the language.
Yeah.
And then wherever it is. Remember I was telling you about that app I wanted to do with the phone?
Yeah.
Sort of like that.
That could kind of like
But more physical, you know what I mean? Where you actually read something on there and it's more like a touristy kind of a thing,
you could even put like codes on those plaques too. Like if you have your phone,
Oh, yeah.
that can just read that QR code or that
Yep.
code, and it'll just pop up like the backstory or the history
That'd be really
behind
good.
it.
like Girls Landing. Now they call it Girls Landing. But before they called it Girls Landing, they used to call it Porter's Landing.
Porter's Landing.
And then all the way around up toward Gishik's Landing, then they'd had Wemptigouji's Landing. I don't know if anybody, like the game wardens or the duck hunters, now, if they ever went down there to look, they still have a foundation out there at Wemptigouji's Landing. It's almost close to the mouth of Lost River. And that's where a white guys snuck in and built a house there, and they snuck in and went duck hunting when there was a lot of sheep out there.
Probably went night racing out there too.
They probably did, until they found out, they must, I suppose nobody even thought to look out. It was kind of way back from the shore, but
Mm-hmm.
we went out there as kids when we were kids, and we used to go all over around lake shores. Me and your dad and Sarah and all of us, Roger, Norm, Lou, Squeak, Kenny, Gail. We used to all go walking around the shores, and that's when we come across Wemptigouji's Landing.
Mm-hmm.
Wemptigouji is a white man.
Yeah.
White man's landing, that's what they call it.
So is that right around where they call it now, Spencer's Point?
Yeah, probably right close by the mouth of the
Mm-hmm.
Lost River.
And what's the background? I've heard stories like that before as a kid. People night racing, and then you told me as a child that you're not supposed to race at night
Yeah,
because
only-
that's when the spirits.
The spirits are racing at night.
And I was taught this through, I believe it was my mom that told me about why they do them ceremony. Like some of the day ceremonies are done through the night,
Mm-hmm.
or early in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the reason for that, like you said, the nighttime is a special time, when there's certain things that are right to do, like early in the morning, just before the sun comes up and you can kind of see the stars. That's the most powerful time for the spirits. That's when they're like right here, closest to us.
Yeah, and that's why we probably have dreams. I have my dreams early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
My spiritual dreams.
You ever hear an explanation about Naba and how it kind of, I guess, in a spiritual way, the word for sleep I'm talking about, what are the variations? Naba, well, there's Naboski. No.
Yeah. Old Naboshki sitting out there.
But like if you're telling somebody to go to bed,
Oh, I used to say, "Daganiban, please
Daganiban.
sleep." Yeah.
Okay.
Ni, you sleep, or I sleep.
Do you say way need the bond too?
Just Niba is sleep,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know why I put Ni on there.
No,
That
okay.
means I sleep.
Yeah.
Ginabon, yeah, you sleep.
What I was getting to was there was an explanation. I got to find that file. I don't know if it was a TikTok or more than likely a TikTok, but there was a woman that it was explaining about Naba and kind of like her. Well, I'm sure she learned it from an elder too, but what she was making reference to was that that's the time that when you're sleeping, that's the time that your spirit is traveling. And so it travels all around and how did she say that? That it, that your spirit is free, kind of from your body and that you're able to
Uh,
go to these different places.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, Neba, Jalen's name is Ba Be Mashian. And he explained to me, he said the Ba Be is like describing something like going around.
Yep.
That's the etymology behind that breakdown of Ba.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Like
wow.
like Squeaks, his name is
Thanks for that, Scoopinase.
Mm-hmm.
Squeak's name is Jibobines.
Mm-hmm.
And that means a bird that's flying around. Jibob.
Yeah.
So that must be going.
Going around.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jibob. And then you see Bines.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're talking about that, when you're sleeping, you have like this. This was a story from Uncle Albert Strong when he was wounded in a foxhole in Germany or wherever he was, and he said he kept going around. He was flying around in his. He must have been almost gonna die or something. He in the book, and he said he was flying around the lake, and he said when he was flying around the lake, he seen somebody sitting on a big lily pad, and it was a man, half frog and half human. The top was human and the bottom was a frog. And he said he's just seeing that, so he said he thought he'd go around again and see who it was. Here he went way down there to see who that man was, and he said it was no man named Bill the Prairie. That was my, older. He was an older man than, but he was still alive up in Nett Lake here, and so that's what, while he was in almost dying, he was going around. His soul was going all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they say. The minute you die, your soul leaves your body, and that's why you get messages like that night Biddy guy died, and me and Lester were getting ready for bed, and it was just calm, no wind, nothing. And our bedroom door opened, just slammed, just right against the other side of the wall.
Mm.
And just me and him lived there then. All our kids were grown up. But that's what he said. That was my nephew. He said coming to see us.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't see him, but he probably could see us.
Yep.
Well, people wonder why we, when a member of our community passes, why we cancel events, we postpone them or reschedule them. It's for not just out of respect for the family, but that traditional belief that that person's spirit or soul is traveling around and visiting their loved ones, their friends.
Mm-hmm.
So to cancel an event, to not take away from that, that's the part that I remember you explaining that when I was younger.
Yeah.
Why?
I like that they do that. And, going into the future, because I'm starting to notice now, I guess it's being as old as I'm getting,
Yeah.
that you kind of notice, things that we were taught kind of get lost as to why we did things the way that we did or that were done before.
Mhm.
And so I can kind of see something like that. And I'm always thinking about it. And I'm glad that we have, Auntie here to share some of the the teachings, you know, because there's a lot more to it than just, you know, some of the stuff that we're sharing with you. You know, the way we do things, I mean, we don't just do them to do them. We were taught these things, you know, and there's a reason why, you know, we do these things. And I guess if I was like really an outsider or somebody that didn't know or appreciate these teachings and at least have respect for them, that you know, the people would know, like you said, for people on the outside.
Yep. Looking in on it.
Looking in, yeah. And that's what's great about this program and about KBFT, and it's kind of the mission is just to kind of explain a lot of this, you know, like when we do this stuff, when we take that time, when we lose a loved one as a community, it's that's what it's for. It's for them to, you know, be able to be tuned in to that, you know, that part of our spirituality.
And I love the way we do it too. We don't act as like the culture police or anything like that. We just talk lightly on the subject, and you know, give our Grandma Karen can give her thought. And
one of the kids in elementary asked me, how do you know all your things, all your stuff? And I said, well, I was taught by my family. I said, my grandma, my grandpa, my aunts, my uncles, and they were taught by their grandma, grandpa, their uncles, aunts. I said, it went back on and on. I said, and that's how I learned all these stuff, just by listening to what my grandma knew from long ago. I said, and she'd tell us things, what not to do, you know, we couldn't steal, or told us not to fight and all that, and, you know, just to be respectful to our elders, and, you know, just everything. She told us a lot of values, you know. And our grandpa too, Grandpa George, he used to correct the boys and us girls, and, you know, if he seen us doing something, he would sit us down and talk with us. And I just love my Grandpa George. And everybody, just all these grandkids, then they both, my grandma and grandpa, they would know how. While I was reading this thing, I found this saying, and I was looking for a birthday gift for my daughter coming up. It says, Grandma now is the root of our family tree. In Nukumis, Ogi, how you say what? Jibik. Jibik is a root in our family tree. It would be, you know, if you said this in Indian, Nukumis, Ogi, Jibik, then you look for how you say family, and then you look for Mitig. Is there a word for, I can't remember the word for family. I know Jibik is a root, some kind of a medicine root, or yeah.
how do you say bear root? Is that
Makwa. I think that's Makwa Jibik.
because then I heard somebody said the word for makwa mide is bear grease.
Yeah.
Bear, which that has a lot of healing factors too for some people, right?
Yeah, it does. You know, my cousin was even telling me, if you're going bald, put bear grease on your hair, when you're going bald, and you'll grow hair. So
Yeah, I hear somebody around the village here that's doing that. You know, and I can see they're not that old. They're probably in their early 40s, but they're probably noticing some of the thinning in that, you know. And I know I've noticed myself doing that too. But I know my grandpa my JS was, well, even my Louis was, you know, kind of balding a little bit,
Mhm.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
so, but I know that gene is carried by a woman, or the females, you know, the thing for genetic uh, baldness or whatever it is. So, but yeah, root. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was Ojibik. I had no clue.
Yeah.
So miigwech.
It's a root.
And what was the other one? Family.
Yeah, I can't remember how you say family. Then you just add metig, tree, a family tree.
Yeah. I suppose it's like relatives, maybe. Yeah.
Metig, yeah, that would be all because all your relatives are your whole family.
Yep.
Dinawemaganak metig.
Mm-hmm.
Nukumiso jibik, she's the root of grandma now is the root of our family tree. And I asked that lady, she had dream catchers made in this, and she only had one, and she said she was going to order some more. So I was going to get one for all my granddaughters. Well, my daughter-in-laws and my daughter, the ones that are grandmas. Well, Vera's a grandma too, but so I had to get 4 of them in there. They're not dream catchers, they're wind chimes. And they're really nice, so I gotta get 3 more of them. Then I can give them to my 2 daughters and my 2 daughters-in-law. Then I was sitting around there and these words, I don't think you ever heard them words. Kukaadan,
Kukaadan.
that means you're gonna step on something.
Kukaadan.
Yeah, kukaadan. And then, like I was talking to, in when you're walking, you meet somebody, you nigishkawa,
Gishkawa.
nigishkawa.
Gishkawa.
I met nigishkawa ni mama as you bimusayan. I met my mother as I was walking.
Nigishkaan Mishkopanis. How did you say the last part? Walking, as I was walking.
Bimusayan.
Bemosayan.
Nigi nish, what was it? Nigi gishkawa.
Gishkawa Mishkopanis.
I met,
Bemosayan.
yeah, I met Perry while I was walking. Now Skribenas Nigi bimusayan. Nigishkawa.
Nigishkawa.
That means you met somebody.
Nigishkawa Niji. Nigishkawa Niji. Bemosayan.
I met my friend walking when I was walking. And there's another, that one, Kukaadan, my grandma used to always say that. Kego, Kitabi skan, makazinan. Kikukaadan, zaagi'igining.
Put on your shoes.
You're gonna step on Kukaadan, you're gonna step on a nail, she'd say. Zaagi'igining.
Kadabi skan is
You should wear.
you should wear
Kitabi skan.
makazinan.
Yeah.
Kadabi skan makazinan.
Kukaadan.
Bikukaadan. Gegu.
Step on something. Gigo.
Bikukaadan. Gegu.
Yeah, or you could say a nail or glass or whatever. Kukaadan.
Or step on like a knife or something. Come on. Or
Yeah, you step on anything.
sharp. Something sharp.
Kukaadan. I was thinking of these old words our grandma used to tell us when there was another word she was saying.
So kukaadan gegu is step on something.
Yeah,
Kukaadan.
or gigo kukaadan, we don't step on anybody. And we couldn't step on boys when we were little. They wouldn't let us go step over boys.
Yeah. Yep. I know I was, or somebody shared that with me when I got married, you know, because she always observed, you know, that when her moon, and so her stepfather taught us, you know, or taught her, you know, how to conduct herself, you know, and then also how those around her should also respect that time. And so that's one of the practices I think that, you know, if you want to learn more about that, you can definitely talk to Auntie here, and she can give you more information on it.
Oh, my grandma would say that. She'd say, okay, go, I just had it in my head how to say step on somebody. Oh, geez, I forget. Right away, I forgot how
Yeah.
to say it.
Hmm.
I'll think of it. Gee, see how long I'm going to be forgetting.
Yeah, because I would do the cooking.
Bajadao.
Bajadao.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's how you say when you step over somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Gigo Bajadao. The GMS, my grandma would say, don't step on your little brother.
Is the way that they recognize that time of for a woman, is that like is it referred to like a moon? No.
No, our grandma used to say
Any.
anytime.
Oh, okay.
You can't step on a boy's leg, especially over them.
Yeah, or sacred items too.
Yeah, you can't step on like feathers or.
Yep.
Or
Bajado.
Bajadao. You could say Bajadao, Bajadao. And that's when girls wear dresses all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you couldn't.
Bajado.
Bajadao.
Well, I know when I was married, I would do the cooking. You know, she wouldn't do the meal prep, and then also I couldn't eat from her bowl or her plate.
They can't dance at powwow. There's a lot of teachings.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're you know, you want to learn more about that those teachings, you can either go to Karen. And I think our relative Shar knows a lot about that too.
Yep.
So,
And so a lot of you know, I mean, just use your tobacco.
yep.
You know, especially men. I think men, we weren't, well, historically we weren't a male society. We were more of a female leadership, I guess. You know, we just took on the American way of, you know, male prominence in every situation, you know, taught by these old wimpy
Yeah. Well, they
you know, just to keep themselves in some kind of power, you know. But originally, you know, we respected our women, and we held them in high regard and looked after them.
Well, that was my favorite teaching from you, is when you said you used to listen to all those old leaders when you were a young girl, and when they couldn't decide on something, like they'd ask their wives, and
Yep.
they'd all come back. And I was like, how ingenious is that actually, though? Like if men are discussing something and they can't come up with a clear-cut answer, well, just ask your significant other, and then all of us will come back. And that's really,
You know, your grandpa worked with high school kids. He was like a counselor. He worked with all kids in different schools. And that's what he would do. Sometimes he'd have a problem with a kid and he'd come and ask me, what would you do? Just give me an idea on what. Sometimes when he'd come back, he'd say it worked, you know. And, you know, what you told me to do, he said, and you know, that's how it was with the old leaders. Now, everything changes from day to day, you know, and you know, but the Indian nation stays just sitting up. Nobody's following that to the good.
Well, I think I'll just get up on the soapbox here and just and just remind everybody, or at least kind of like say something that gets to the reason why things are the way they are today. And maybe there's some confusion in our roles, but those traditional teachings, like I keep trying to say, and I realize more and more in my life as I get older that, you know, they weren't just, nobody came from a point of power, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It was just about like getting through life. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't anything like, okay, I want to get all the rice out there. I want to go out there and get it and sell it and, you know, buy a car with the money that I get out there. I mean, we just went out there and we got, you know, what we could.
Yep.
And we got help from our younger, if we were elder, we just basically had our family there to look after us. You know, in exchange, our elders taught them how to conduct themselves, you know, how to care for one another. And you know, where we're at today, we've learned all this stuff like the money thing, you know, like, oh yeah, I want to go out there and get 12 sacks, you know,
Yep.
of rice, and then I'm gonna go buy, you know, whatever it is. But I remember back in, you know, the stories about the 60s, when my dad was a young teenager, that you know, he remembers that they could go out even when in its 20s, he could go out there and they could make enough for a vehicle, to buy a vehicle. They could buy new furnishings for their homes. They could buy stuff for their parents. And so there was,
Get ready for prepare for a harsh winter,
well,
like traveling and how it was.
well, yeah, that's the way they look at it. But I mean, it gets twisted around by the society that we live in today. You know, where we're more oriented towards the money part of it than we are about the
Like
you know,
capitalization part.
Yep. And so, you know, I'm not anti-capitalistic or anything like that.
Me neither.
I just want our people to kind of remember, you know, our values and the things that we should have been taught, you know, because I can see how our kids they pick up on it really fast.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're money oriented, you know, it's a good chance your kids are going to be money oriented, you know. So, and that's not a bad thing. You know,
No,
I'm not
no.
saying that's a bad thing, but they should be balanced. You know what I mean, with some of the teachings that our elders, you know, preserved for us. And it's sad that we missed out on a lot of that, because I know that they were probably influenced by the culture, the dominant culture, but I knew that they still. I think that's why a lot of our people, like through the 60s and stuff, they experienced a lot of that stress in the 50s, and being told that if they were dark, you know, that they weren't going to be accepted out there in, you know, when they went to the
that teaching
relocation.
still lives. That still lives on today, because I asked my dad why he's afraid to be out in the sun too long, and he tells me the same thing every time. I don't want to get my skin complexion to get too dark. I'm like, but in my head I wanted to ask him, where does that come from? Like, why are you, like, if you're a melanated person and you have your skin reacts to the sun and you get a little darker, you don't. And I think that's where that does come from.
I think people perceive that as you're not part of, or you don't want to be part of culture, not culture, but dominant culture. You don't want to be part of the capitalistic American dream type thing, and that you're still trying to be traditional. you know, or that you're, even if you think traditional, that you're against capitalism, or you're against this, or, you know, freedom in the pursuit of the American dream or anything like that. But you know what? I have a dream too, you know, and that's for our people to be happy,
healthy.
you know, and to remember ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I was just saying, you were talking about, like, son owned his own roofing company, and all summer long he was on a roof, you know, him and some other guys getting just dark. And Carlene said she went somewhere and there was some guys roofing on a roof there. She said this guy was waving. She didn't know that was son, her brother, waving at her. She said, and she couldn't see that good. She was way up on the roof, and she told Donna, "Who's that? Who's that black guy waving at me?" And Dawn said, "That's your brother." He said, because we just getting sunburned. You know,
Yep.
when you go ricing too, you just get really bad. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because you're getting twice the sun, the reflection from the water and directly from the sun.
I was reading this here. We were walking through the Red Cliff Casino, and a native guy came up to and talked to us in our native language. "Auntie, when you buying, kiddo?" He told us to come to the powwow at the end of the month. He said he relocated from KVIC, the Lavernier family. He was awesome for using Anishinaabemoin. Just because of that, we were coming to their powwow. All the deli was ordered at the deli. We ordered our supper. We noticed 3 teen girls taking handful of crackers and going into the bathroom. They came out a short time later and sat at the table. They looked down a little and out. We couldn't eat our pizza and french fries, so I brought it to their table. The girls were very appreciative and thanked us. I hope whatever they were going through, they are going to be okay. When we got up to leave, they said thanks again and waved. And you know, that's like how, you know, somebody that's down and out and you help them, you get it back. You know, there's ways you get things back when you do something good for people. You know, like there's
Well, it used to scare me what Grandma Jessie used to say. Oh, if you win bigger, you
have to pay.
Yep, so the spirits will take something from you. So that's why I always dread coming into a large amount of money or anything, because I'm gonna lose something.
I won $6,000 at Fortune Day, and I lost my mother a month later. We were going to Hibbing shopping, and a owl flew right through my side of the window and cracked my whole windshield. And it was on a Sunday, and we called Pink Sheet, and he said, burn it. But there was so much snow we couldn't get at it. And when we come back, that owl was gone. I don't know if it'd come back, and then there was feathers there, and the snow was too deep. So, but somehow somebody got back there for us, and they only had the feathers. But he said, burn the feathers. And then you know what? That don't even help when you burn it, or it's just something that's gonna happen. Yeah. There was some other stuff posted some people posted, but I can't go in and keep on.
But we take a break here, and you can find that information. And just want to thank everybody for joining us here. It was a real good discussion. Aunty Karen, thank you for being here, man. I mean, it's always good to have you, you know, coming on the show and we really appreciate Jay, allowing you the time to come join us here. So, miigwech, Jay, miigwech, naski benes.
You should come join us, Jay.
Oh yeah, Jay should come join us. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you should.
We'll leave an open invitation for Jay to come in. Jalen Strong is our Heritage Center director. I don't know exactly
And
what
then
his title
Tribal
is.
Historic Preservation
Yeah,
Officer.
Tribal Historic Preservation Officer, and
Plus, he's a relative.
he's got his language with him too.
Yep.
So it's something that open invitation for Jay. I know the more that we hear our language, just like the kids pick it up when they're young at so quick, anything,
Exactly.
just like a lot of people probably know Spanish just because of Dora, and so we need to create our own things, and I'm glad we got these young guys back there too. There's such creative individuals, and I'm excited to kind of put some support behind them, so that they can create or come up with any ideas. So maybe if they want to do animation, or if there's anybody out there that wants to do animation, we definitely entertain incorporating that into the things that we do here. So anyhow, I'm gonna read you some updates, and I'm gonna let Auntie look for information for the rest of the hour, and we'll probably take a little break away from that for about, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. I'm going to read you some information, so if you want to come back in 10, that'd be fine. In the meantime, I'm going to update you on the weather.
It's the good thing with technology now. How it's moved. You and Keith could just probably even do the album here.
gotta renew my driver's license. Last minute, of course. CD that Karen and Keith Sokola had done. Do you remember when that was? 2000 or was it before then?
No, it was 2000. I can't even remember.
2000 something. But anyway, in the 2000s, her and Keith worked on this project, and they did an awesome job. I mean, it was. I think you guys won a award for it. Yeah, the NAMI awards. So very, very, very cool stuff. And yeah, so we're going to work on another project like that. I'm just kind of letting people know that, we're working on stuff here, some new content. And let's see, some of the other tracks, or you can find this, I do believe. I think it's still for sale. Did you just get another shipment of CDs? No? No? We'll try to track them down. We'll get them here at KBFT, and maybe we'll offer them up for sale for you guys, because I know you guys get the profits from that in some way. Right on. Okay. And let's see. We are back. Auntie's ready. And Nashki Benes is here too, Perry.
Should we do our translation for the hour?
Okay.
All right. So, Isaac Kinberg Kadu. Kawesa. Wenda. Chinigazit. Ginnikan is son. Charles Garola, aka Ogi Magi Jik Minoa, Dinaway Maganan, Wee Way Banabi Wood, Gawin, Giwa Ba Magosanan, Duck Soup, Megwa, Odabi, Away Chijiman.
Okay.
So he said, Gaway Sa, that's Gaway Sa.
That's kind of like what would it be like? Gaway Sa. They're doing it. They're going there. Or he's saying they're going fishing. He didn't say sheep naboob duck soup, and I can't remember what else he said.
Nikan is Sanan is your brother, right? No,
Yeah.
Nikan.
Yeah. Or, yeah.
Or is that brother or no?
No, that probably a
Nikan is Sinan. Nikan is it's something to do with like family, right?
Yeah.
And then Ogi Magijik is his own boss.
Yeah.
And Minowa Udinwe Maganan is relative.
Also relatives.
Also my relative Wewe Binabi
Went fishing.
went fishing. Gawin no Giwabam Magosanan. They didn't see duck soup. Megwa Jishib Nabu Megwa Odabi Ewed.
They were
Driving that big boat. Chijiman.
Yeah.
Agawa Sha Shababi Zababi. Agawa Sha. Hardly. Wamtaguji winini ikido bide walk kwenzi Ogima Gijik aka Bejigan Shue Gabo. I'm sorry, I was laughing because he said that white man said bide walk kwenzi greasy man. Midday, greasy old man. That white man said, "Greasy old man, monkey monkey shaking." Jesus,
Called him a greasy old man.
called him a greasy.
Yeah, I was, you know what, I was talking about these in between Indian language. That's why you gotta know a lot of your words. Like long time ago, the old Indians, the ones that didn't know their language, they had, as they got to know, I remember a man named Doss, he come from Lac La Croix. His name was Jack Ottertail, and he was my grandma's helper during ricing. He was kind of old already. He couldn't rice here anyway. Manomanike. Anyway, he had broken English, and well, we were teenagers, and we try to help him learn he knew some, but he was drunk one time, and he said he was trying to say, "What's the matter with you?" You know, he was learning the English language for "What's the matter with you?" And if he, like the Indian way, he'd say, "Wegunen," how would you say, "What's the matter with you?" Wegunen. Oh, I can't think of it. Anyway, he would try to do the language English. He'd say wa 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 ma what me why you. He'd say he was trying to say what's the matter with you, and he'd say that, and if if you do first language, if Anishinaabe was your first language, you're bound to make mistakes after when I noticed that's the way I am. I kind of talk at times some of my kids will laugh at me how I have some broken language as I'm getting older. Like Anthony, one time he was riding the bus and I called him on the bus and I said, "Anthony, what?" I said, "Where you are," I told him. He started laughing. "I meant, where are you?" And then, they're like, they don't have in between. Like if you were going to ask, "Andi, where is Andi? When you buying? Where are you from?" See, it just says, "Andi, where? Andi, when you buying?" And you don't say "oh," you just say the "asabikone zaagi'igining" or "asabikone zaagi'igining" and doing jiba. I'm from Nett Lake, and then there's other words. It only has the word, and if you know the word, you can understand the word in Indian. What they're saying in Indian, you can understand by just putting them words together. Like Gidana, do you have? Or you don't have to put na. You just put Gidan. Samapogasak, do you have cigarettes? And or you could say Ande is where. Ande Gimama. Where it don't have your, it just says where mama. Ande Gimama.
Or if somebody asks you for money, you can say, "Gawin, how do you say I didn't hear?
Gawin Niki Nundawasi.
Gawin Niki Nundawasi.
As it's again what you're doing.
Ikudu Minawa.
Yeah,
Ikudu.
See?
Ikudu Minawa.
yeah, say it again. But you don't say it, you don't use a it in there. Gida, what did you say? Say it again.
Ikudu.
Ikitu minawa. Say it again. See, we automatically use it. Say it again. And get, say that again now. Don't.
Oh, Gawin Migi Nundawasi.
Yeah.
Gikudu Minawa.
Mhm. Say it again. You see, minawa is again.
Minawa.
Minawa.
Ge is you, and then
Yeah.
Ikudu or Gikudu is Gikudu or Ikudu. Some people say Ikudu,
Mhm.
but it's all preference, like just how you. But I didn't hear. I didn't hear. Say that again, please. Could even add Dika.
Yeah.
Dika Gikudu.
Mhm.
Minawa.
Or like you want to say, please go. You say, Dagama John.
Dika Majan.
Yeah. Or if you want to be a little mean, you say, Gadagu, Gida, Guji, Ima. You
Dika
get out of
Guji.
here.
Dika Gujiyama.
My grandma used to say that to them dogs. They'd bother her. They like my grandma, but she'd say, Guji, Ima. That means get out of here or go away. Go away. Guji. Yeah. Aunty, let's see, what's another word for Guji? Yeah, Guji, Ima. And yeah, I can't think today too much, too good. But there's a lot of in between words that that you person don't really know, but if they know their language, they can pick out the words and then just put them together, put the Indian words together. It's like, say if I Auntie, we Ganesh, Gigiz, how do you say cooking?
Gizekwe.
Skizekwe nungo.
Gizekwe.
What are you cooking today, nungo?
Gizekwe.
Yes, Gizekwe nungo.
Ni mama Ninukumis Gizekwe. Zakos Bakwajik. Oh, fry bread. I always forget.
Zagasko.
Zakasko Bakwajikan.
Yeah.
Nukumis Gizekwe. Zakosko Bakwajikan. Zakosko Bakwajikan.
Or else, the mama ni Gizekwe baka akwe naboob. My mother is making chicken soup, and I'm gonna tell you a dream I had, and I want to see if you can pick out all the words that I'm saying. They dibikung ni boachige, gi boachige, nungum yibo dibikung ni boachige. Nigi boachige ni mama minua. Misho miss Ugi bindige ogoma ne waka ikan. Ugi papa ige squandam. Nigi kido bindige no ma bindige. Away the mama minwa ne misho miss ugi bindige. Ngi kido kita na mata buma. Uma Giza Koigamik Ogi Namata Biogoma Oma away and Nimisho Miss Ogi Kito Gida Ma John where we Gida Ma John Ogida Ki Oma Ogi Medewi Yuk Going Ogi Kitu Sine Mama. Me at the good in the mother. Me at the good in the mission, Miss Ogi Gigito. o ne mama kido be shikuki kido wewe niki niki basically na ma papa win ya niki kido niki maja wewe ne mama kido niki maja kuching oma kuching away kini away nini kinusi nini niki kido wewe gawi niki wabendan away nini me atago niki wabendan ski shik away ma ingan tiguan ogi biskan away niki bimusen away nini niki bimusen ke niki macha oma ogi daki away ka kip away ga mewisha ogi kap kite ji ige away ogi ika away medewi gano ma diki away nini minuwa ogi libuin oma swande away gawi nigi wabendan si min actigo ski shikun nigi wabendan away diki nabin oma bindik gawi nigi wacha bindik mi actigo nabin away kwayag mi actigo ma namatabiyo kuma mi basic actigo kwe away kaya bimadis kinago kwaya kogi majog ogi nibog diki kukadan away bindik bigo nikiskuzian. Okay, what did you get out of what I said?
Heard onabin a couple times. That's like look. Beindig. That's like coming in, right?
Yeah.
Beindig. Onabin is look. Koe niniuk. I heard something with men. Niniuk. Heard a lot of key phrases.
Like Incan Tiguan.
Wolf head.
Yeah, wolf head. Skishik, your eyes. I only could see his eyes. I couldn't see his face. We had to go Nikki up and down Skishik.
So is Beindig like came in?
Yeah.
Oh, came
Nikki
in.
Beindig. I came in there, Nikki Beindig. If you're someone's knocking on your door, you say Beindig. Come in, Beindig.
So if my one of my sons came in the house, I could say Ningusis Beindig.
Yeah.
My son came in.
Yeah.
Ningusis
Ningusis hogi Beindig.
Ningusis hogi Beindig.
Yeah, my son came in. Ningusis hogi Beindig. And then I said, I went outside and there was a man standing out by my door, same way as a wolf with the wolf head. And he followed behind me up to where the old ball diamond was. Kapkite G-Ige, that's a baseball field. I don't know if to say field, there's the word. But he followed me up to the old baseball, and there was a Medewi gone sitting there. And I said, inside there, I didn't go in, but there was the same man sitting standing outside the door, and I looked in there. all ladies were in there. And the only one that was alive was Alma Goodsky, Alma Lombard. Then when she was alive, she was the only one in there. All the rest of the ladies were really old ladies, and I recognized them, but they were all gone. And I said I was just going to step in there, and I woke up. So, if you hear somebody talking Indian every day, you can pick out the words they're saying. Geekitawuk away, geekitawuk. And they're zaagi'igining no mabang kawin on how do you say it? When Anishinaabemoin how do you say Anishinaabemoin Nimi when are they having a powwow in Tower? No nominees.
The 23rd, 24th, and 25th.
Oh, okay.
So you're right here. Your grandma's on there. So you can go ahead and just talk through that.
Okay.
And then your headphones.
Go now, quick. Almost. Go now, quick.
There's 4 minutes left, Graham. You got 4 minutes left of the show.
Okay. Let's see. Let's talk some Anishinaabemoin. Gishpin, if Gishpin, can watch Tamin Oma on the Asian. If we get done here on, I said, where are you going? Gishpin, can watch Tamin Oma on the Asian. How do you say?
Dawe kumik nindisha.
Oveki naskan wisinewinina.
Yeah. Baka kwe wias minawa. Baka kwe wias minawa jiwabu.
Gawin din mi at to go. Nagiwan and ogi bina. Nagi bina chi aya wisinewin. I said, when I go home, I'll eat my elder meal. Like chi aya wisinewin. Okay. And that's just wait till I get home. I'll eat my elder. Chi aya is elder. Wisinewin is food. And
1 minute left, Graham.
no, 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
It's 11:53.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? How much is left?
I think
It's basic needs the swe ndi went on ningadaswe nishmaswe jankswe medaswe a shibasic 11 medaswe a shibasic and nana midna a shiniswe 53 nana midna a shiniswe that's 53 11:53.
Oh, we have an event here. So on June 22nd, 2023, 6:30 p.m. Return to Gitchimanidu. Drum, speech, and rap performance featuring Sean Jensen, Brian Stilday, and Chiles de Casador. Location to be determined either in the Big Eagle Room, in the RTC, or in the powwow grounds near the drum. Food and beverage will be provided. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Drum, speech, and rap performance. Return to Get Your Money Due, June 22nd, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. So be sure to be there and come out and show support. And free food and beverage will be provided.
Yeah. What? Anina P?
Oh, Anina P?
When?
6:30 p.m. on June 22nd. And I believe that's...
I'll have to write that. Should be ige away June. Nishtana. Nishtana, 22nd. write it on my,
Featuring
Okay.
Sean Jensen, Brian Stilday, and Chiles de Cazador.
okay,
Chiles de
at
Cazador.
6:30.
Mm-hmm. Return to get you money due.
Yeah, that would be a good thing for these young men to
Oh, yep. They
learn
can-
their language and do songs in Anishinaabe. Have somebody help them
Mhm.
say the Indian words for their songs. Like, is that what?
Yep. It's I think it's time. You want to have any closing statements, Graham?
No, just if you need any help, I'm the only one here now. My friend is gone, friend Harvey Thompson. So I'm the only one here that's fluent and the only one that can give Indian names around here.
Mm-hmm.
So when I leave, you'll have nobody to go to. Well, unless the young ones here, George, Marty, Perry, Chaz, Switch, Kinagok, young, Skill Niniok, them are young men. Skill Niniok, Miigwech, Miigwech,
There you go,
Gigawabaman,
How you shut her down then, Mark?
Niwin, Deboy, Niwin, Gishi.
When you're done, just pull down that one.
This one.
Yeah.